In this video, we will transition the Subsite Protrak transporter from the 8-inch configuration to the 6-inch configuration. This setup configures the Protrak for inspecting 6-inch sewer pipe and lined 6-inch sewer pipe. The tools required for this project are a 5/16 Allen wrench, a 7/32 Allen wrench, and a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. We are going to start with the removal of both track assembly plates. Place the tractor on its left side. Take the 5/16 Allen wrench and remove the 2 bolts that are closest to the inside of the tread drive assembly. Set the bolts aside. Lift the tread drive assembly from the chassis. Remove the track drive coupler from the receiver slot on the motor body and set aside. Remove the bolt on the top of the tread plate attaching it to the motor body. If possible, remove the brass spacer between the tread mounting plate and motor body and set aside. Rotate the transporter onto its right side to access the other tread assembly plate. Repeat the same disassembly process for the right side. Remove the 2 inside bolts. Lift the tread assembly plate from the chassis. Remove the track drive coupler. Remove the inner bolt attaching the tread mounting plate to the motor body, and remove the spacer between the plate and the motor body. Set aside the bolts, track drive coupler, and spacer. Now rotate the transporter chassis so the bottom of the base plate is facing up. Use a 7/32 Allen wrench to remove the 4 bolts holding the base plate to the motor body. Set the bolts aside. Now remove the base plate assembly and set aside. Be sure that you have located and set aside both of the brass spacers. One will be thinner than the other. Now we will mount the 6-inch base plate to the motor body. Place the motor body in front of you, top down. The holes on the base plate are inset on one side and flush on the other. Place the base plate on the motor body so the side with the inset holes are face up as you are assembling, but will be face down on the completed transporter. The grouping of 4 holes on the base plate line up with the 4 holes on the bottom of the motor body. Use the 4 1/4-20 screws contained in the kit to attach the base plate to the motor body. The tops of the screws will go into the insets and will be flush with the top of the plate when screwed in fully. Rotate the motor body with the attached base plate onto its left side. There will be 2 small holes on the side of the base plate on the opposite end from the motor body. Take the left tread assembly plate and align the cog at the end on the inside with the hole in the spindle on the motor body and rotate it into place. Use one of the bolts that you set aside during disassembly to attach the tread assembly plate to the motor housing. Use your hand to get the bolt started and tighten to hand tight for now. Make sure that the treads are loose enough to be pulled out of the way to expose the 2 10/32 holes at the end of the tread plate assembly. Then align them with the 2 holes at the end of the base plate. Collect 2 of the 10/32 screws that are included with your kit and use a Phillips screwdriver to screw them into the 2 holes, attaching the tread plate assembly and base plate. Now tighten the bolt attaching the tread assembly plate to the motor housing that you had previously left hand tightened. Rotate the unit so that the right side of the tractor is facing up. On the end of this side of the base plate, there will be 2 10/32 holes with a smaller hole between them. Now repeat the process to attach the right tread assembly plate. Align the cog on the right track assembly plate with the spindle and hand tighten the bolt to attach the track assembly plate to the motor body. Make sure that there is enough slack in the tracks to access the holes at the end of the plate. At this point, take the spacer that is included with the 4 10/32 screws in your kit. Lift the end of the tread assembly plate and align the spacer over the 3 holes on the base plate. Place the tread assembly plate back in place on the base plate, being careful to properly align the holes in the spacer with the holes in the 2 plates. Use the kit's 2 remaining 10/32 screws to attach the tread assembly plate to the base plate, with the spacers secured between them. Rotate the tractor to the upright position. Your Protrak is now set up for 6-inch pipe. At this point, it is a good idea to check your treads for proper tension. You can find step-by-step instructions for checking and tightening Protrak treads in a separate video. Be sure and check out our other instructional videos, and our support teams are always happy to assist you at 1-800-767-1974 or 1-859-499-0122.